Vape free is the way to be. Don't wave away your dreams. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Dr. Saeed Arif, Saeed Zaman, and I'm a pulmonologist and head of Department of Pulmonology at Social Security Hospital, Muzaffarpur. As a pulmonologist, how would you describe vaping? Well, vaping is inhalation or taking in the tobacco products or at times non-tobacco products through your nose and mouth to get some flavor, and that actually in turn makes you addicted to it. So that is what it is. In your opinion, what are the common misconceptions about vaping? Number one misconception: people believe that it is less dangerous or not dangerous at all. So, which is a big misconception, I would say. Vaping is, if not more, then at least as much dangerous as traditional smoking. Because when you say vaping is not dangerous or less dangerous, actually it gives an impression to a layman that it is not dangerous at all. But it is not true. It has its own dangers, not like cigarette, but similar ones and at times different ones and at times even more dangerous than the traditional cigarettes. Are vapes better than traditional cigarettes? Better in what sense? Better in, well, there are studies, there are researches that have been done all over the world that say it is less dangerous. But even those studies suggest that most of the dangers of vaping we still don't know. So it is. I don't think it is justified to say that it is less dangerous. It is not dangerous in the ways that cigarettes, traditional cigarettes are, but maybe it is more dangerous in some other ways that we still don't know. But so far, whatever we have studied in the world, and when I say we have studied, I mean all of the researchers all over the world have studied uh, the normal that the harms that we know about traditional cigarettes. They are not as much with e-cigarettes. That is what we are present. What are the lung diseases associated with vaping? Well, there are so many lung diseases that can come with vaping. Number one, it makes you more likely to take up traditional cigarette. Number one. Somebody who has never been a smoker, a child or an adolescent or adult, who have not been a smoker and who has no such tendency to become a smoker. In the family, nobody smokes. In the friends, nobody smokes. They at times fall into the trap of e-cigarettes and vaping and believe that it is not dangerous or it is just cool to, vape. It's okay to vape. And once they start doing that, they become hooked up to it, they become addicted to it, and later on they actually start smoking. So it is the number one danger. Then there are so many other dangers to the lungs. There are so many diseases that a person gets just by vaping, and there are difficult and different technical names for it. But most commonly, it more easily, if I put it simply, it affects the lungs in ways like it makes them less able to absorb oxygen from the air. Number one, it makes your tongue more like desensitized to the flavors. So the food doesn't taste the way it tastes to a non-smoker. It affects your tongue. If it affects your taste buds, then it makes your airways, the breathing pipe, the windpipe secrete more mucus. It makes you cough up more phlegm, and that leads to other illnesses that can affect a person in their health later on, and eventually it may cause cancer and similar illnesses like that of cancer, not cancer, but similar illnesses that can actually make a person die. It can cause death as well. So there are other symptoms of lung disease other than the ones you mentioned. Yes, there are so many symptoms. If a person who is vaping or smoking gets a cough that doesn't go away, it is one problem that you can easily attribute to his vaping habit or smoking habit. And then those people who vape can develop chest pain that doesn't go away. They can develop heart problems that don't go away easily. And heart problems usually we associate them with an advancing age. We don't see heart problems very common in young population, but we can actually see them in vapors or smokers. It is making heart problems and lung problems more common in younger population than it used to be. While searching, we came across a popcorn lung disease. So, can you tell us something about that? Popcorn lung, the technical name for it is bronchiolitis obliterans. It's a mouthful, difficult name, but again, what it causes is actually it makes your lungs, um, your airways, and the small air bags that are at the end of the airways makes them swell more. It makes them unable to absorb oxygen from the air and unable to push out the carbon dioxide, that is the dangerous gas inside your body that you need to, push out through exhalation, through breathing. Your lungs are not able to do that. And in turn, your lungs become, you get heavy breathing, you get difficult breathing, and eventually, your lungs age quickly. And that leads to so many other things. What test would you prescribe to anyone facing these symptoms? Uh, there are so many tests that can be done. Depends upon which side effect or which problem or which harmful effect of vaping are they facing. As a screening tool, we advise chest X-ray, and then there can be a simple test called spirometry, in which a person blows into a machine and then take a breath in, and the machine records the functions of the lung. And other tests may include, at times CT scan can be done, and at times we just ask the person check their oxygen with a simple machine, and ask them to walk for about 6 minutes, and then check again, and we see how much oxygen. I mean, how much oxygen does the blood have, and if it goes down or not. So there can be many tests, but the initial test or simple tests can include an X-ray, a spirometry, and a 6-minute walk test like that. Within what time does vape start damaging our lungs? As soon as you take the first puff, it starts affecting. Because number one, when a person takes the first puff of his vape or electronic cigarette, this puts them from the category of never smokers into the category of smokers. Be it occasional smoker, be it regular smoker or whatever. It shifts their category from non-smokers to smokers. So a person who has never smoked would be reluctant to take up the first cigarette, but a person who has tried it once with their friends or anybody would not be that much reluctant to try it again, or to try it for the third time or the fourth time, or actually get into the habit of doing this. So as soon as you take the first puff has to be stopped. A person should not, any child or any student who has an intention to try this should be discouraged, and that is where we need to intervene. But it doesn't mean afterward, once somebody has started vaping or smoking, uh, even then there is definitely so much benefit of stopping. So as early you stop, the earlier you stop, the better it is. But the bigger effects of vaping or smoking, they start to appear after, I would say, some years, not even weeks or months, after years. And for we do not have much research available for vaping because it is relatively new, but we can talk in the light of the research that we have about smoking and traditional tobacco products. And those studies, they tell us that a person starts, usually people start smoking in their second decade of life, like from 11 years to 20 years of life, or 20 to 30 years of life. They start smoking then. The effects start to appear in the fifth decade of life, and usually they become severe in sixth and seventh decade of life. Like when a person crosses 60, usually the effects are maximum at that. And they continue, they are usually never regressing. They usually continue to do that.